right. Fucking storm, dude. Sorry guys. Actually, I'm not gonna tell anything to the storm because then what if it takes our lights out, makes it worse, right?
It's
All
Mother
right,
Nature, bro. Undefeated.
for real. And then, I mean, just to kind of, I guess, just I know we're kind of talking again, like passing the torch, talking a little bit more about Luca. And I think we're still very like early in the stage for like really everyone. Um, there's still a lot of, you
I
still have
think Luca's the closest though.
I think he is. Yeah, I think he's
Yep.
the closest, just because it's like one of those things where like the Europe, like we're talking like more European players are getting drafted and stuff like that. Game is just coming back. We're like, it's just one of those things. I mean, you could
It's
say that some teams have already started doing it. You have the Joker. Who's going to be the MVP. Stuff like that. But now it's like a little bit more like the European feel or whatever, or influence rather, is a little bit more like, I guess, dominant, if you will.
because in European in Europe, there's not really much defense. It's all offense, and that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, there you
So
go. Exactly. Literally exactly that. So, but yeah. So in this case, guys, just like kind of just following up, just like on our last topic for today. I know we talked about the Lakers a little bit, but I just want to go to the other coast. I want to talk about the Knicks. So obviously, the Knicks are the Knicks, right? They haven't been relevant really for a long time. But in this case now, they kind of are. I believe they are number four. Last time I checked, I think they might be. They're still number four. Cool. Tom Thibodeau, he's for real. He is a for real coach, and his system is for real. Julius Randle, he's leading the league in minutes. He's actually leading the obviously Knicks in points, rebound, and assist. So he's just kind of pushing Randle to be kind of like you know the the system there is gonna kind of pushing him to be a really good or showcasing him as a two-way player. Right now he's at 24.1 points per game, 10.2 rebounds, and 5.9 assists. So doing pretty good. My question to you guys is, how far do you think the Knicks will make it in the playoffs? Because I think obviously they're making it, but I just want to know how far you think they're going. What round? Where they're going? I'll go ahead and actually real quick so we can hear a little bit of a fresh voice. Super fan art. Yes, you're on the mic now. So what do you think, dude? How far do you think the Knicks are going?
Well, Daniel, New York
Daniel.
Knicks, they're one of the hottest teams. Well, definitely, they're looking on the up and up in terms of dominant in New York in those boroughs. Uh, so yeah, they're back. Madison Square Garden is like hollowed ground to play basketball, and now they got a team that can finally reflect some of that rich basketball legacy they got going on. I'll root for them. Don't get me wrong. In the East, I really hope they go far. But I don't see them going past the second round, just because. I mean, maybe if there's more injuries, but not on the other teams rather. Uh, but no, I think the Heat are looking pretty strong, and you always cannot rule out Sixers and Bucks. Celtics, they're kind of like with that whole Jalen Brown getting injured, not too much insurance policy there. But the Knicks, I hope they can compete, or at the very least, like embarrass the Nets somehow.
There you go, Tosco. What do you think, bro?
I mean, they're a defensive team because that's what Tom Thibodeau is. Um, I look at this team and I see a bunch of I don't see stars. I don't see
Mm-hmm.
stars. I see a lot of role players that are mashed together and it's working. Um, Obviously, the star here should be RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett is supposed to be the star. He's supposed to be
Yeah.
LeBron of this team.
Yeah.
And so far, he's doing okay. He's the second leading scorer behind Julius Randle. But the thing is that, okay, you're playing teams night in, night out. Julius Randle's doing him. They're coming out there doing this. But when you get to the playoffs and you're playing a 7-game series, the teams are going to focus on your best player. So they're going to change what they do. Because you got to think about it like this. When the season starts, the coach comes in, we're going to run this offense, we're going to run this defense, we're going to run these sets. Cool. They start, they go. As the year goes on, they make little adjustments here or there, but this is what they're sticking to. You cannot change what you do because, we're playing LeBron tomorrow, so now we just got to triple team him. Or we're playing Kawhi the next day. We got to triple, we got to do this. No. The way they are is the way they got to play. So in the regular season, you're seeing Julius Randle, thrive because teams come in, they don't really account for him in the sense of him being, putting up 24 points. And the Knicks are I guess, getting away with it in a sense. But when you play a 7-game series, they're going to play the 76ers for 7 games. They're going to play, the Bucks for 7 games. That goes out the window. We're going to change our defense, and we're going to focus on your best thing. And if your best player is Julius Randle, he's out. We're going to take him out. The rest of the teams have to beat us. That's where I think the issue comes in. That's where I think I don't know if the Knicks can do it. If they were to play in the first round, they play the Hawks, which is another team that, again, similar, a bunch of role players. They have Trae Young, which is supposed to be the star. He's just a shooter. He's more of a shooter than an actually guy who drives in. He does it, but he's a shooter. So I think that they could beat the Hawks, but I think they lose in the second round, whoever they play, especially if it's one of the top teams, because I don't think they have enough. With all these role players, they need another scorer. They got Derrick Rose in the middle of the year, who's putting up great points, but he's coming off the bench. You have RJ Barrett, you have Reggie Bullock, who's again a guard who's been around the league for a while, who's always been decent. You have this team's full of first-round picks. You have Elfrid Payton, another guard. You have Nerlens Noel. You have Obi Toppin, their first-round pick this year. Hasn't really gone and done what he should. What do we expected of him? But defensively, he's not bad. They had their own first-round draft pick from a couple of years ago, Ntilikina. Dennis Smith, who was supposed to be the next star for the Mavericks, had actually traded him in that Porzingis trade, and he hasn't really done much. But injuries and these role player positions have kind of held them back. I think the Knicks could be even better. We need somebody to, be there to help Julius Randle, and we don't know if RJ Barrett is going to be that person. We're going to see when the pressure's there in the playoffs, because like you said, this is the first time they make the playoffs in God knows how many years. So I think they beat the first round team, the Hawks, because I think defensively they're good, they're solid, but then they lose in the second round. So.
All right, Adrian, talk to me. What do you think, man?
So I think I don't think really good of them or well of them. I don't like Tom Thibodeau at all. He had a good team with the Bulls, and they fucked that. Like, they had years of playoff runs.
Rose got injured.
Right. But they had Derrick Rose. They had
Joakim Noah, dude.
Joakim Noah, Jimmy Butler.
Gibson.
Yeah, but right? We're talking about the main guys, Jimmy Butler. So
Yeah.
But yeah, so just to he had a great team, and then he went on to Minnesota, and it was a wash. And now he's at the Knicks. And I think it's just going to be a lot of the same thing. I don't see the Knicks being, especially with what they have right now, being that team. They're doing well right now, but that's a regular season team. I think that's what they are. I think they're a regular season team. I think they can do that. I think they have the depth to do that. but when it comes to the playoffs, it's they don't have the power. And I mean, what I mean by that is, the either scoring potential, and even Tom Thibodeau being a defensive minded coach, even their defense is not as great as you'd expect it to be.
And I think that's what happens a lot with these teams. Like you see it a lot with these teams that come in the playoffs, the 7-8 seeds that we've had, like the Magic, the Hornets, the Hawks. When we get these teams barely coming in, the Bulls, they make it into the playoffs, and these are teams that revolve around one thing, and that's how they were. Like you said, they're regular season teams, because in the regular season, the Spurs coming in to play the Hornets, that one time a year, you're not going to change their offense and their defense to play around them. We're going to keep what they've been doing, so on. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. But they're not going to change their whole system just because, we're going in to go play the Hornets. It's one thing, because they have this one guy that's good. So once you get to the playoffs, that's where things changes. The defense changes. And we've seen it. We've seen it every year. You've seen it even in the past. And even in the series, the MJ series, the Bulls series, what was it last year? The one where they followed Michael Jordan and the Bulls in the last season.
The Last Dance.
Last Dance,
yeah.
Where they were talking about when they were in the championship versus the Jazz, or I don't know if it was the Jazz or the Sonics, where they're talking about it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well we came out or whatever, and they punched us in the mouth. Next day, we switched it up. We did this, that. That's what they do in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You throw everything out the window and it starts over again.
All right, cool.
And
Scratch it next, like
Yeah, we got to go with
every game. It's its own thing. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what happens when these teams, that these smaller teams that get in, and they don't really have a great person, a great player that they need to stop, and that can create, and they get shut down. And now you have shooters that have to step it up to stay in the game. And when you don't have maybe the best shooters, this is what happens. Because don't get it. I mean, let's be real. All the best shooters go to all the best teams, right?
Yeah.
They all sign for those. They become free agents for those. They trade for those. The Knicks don't have great shooters. But if they shut down Randall, they control Barrett, well, those guys are going to have to shoot. And this is where it could be a problem. So I think it's going to be fun to watch. I'm just glad that there's some new blood. There's some new teams that we haven't seen in a while that are going to be in there. The Hawks, the Knicks. It's always fun when you see teams that don't really belong but are in. So even the Wizards that haven't been in a while, they're probably going to make it now with the run they've been on. Westbrook is on a tear.
I mean,
and
Bradley Beal too. I mean, God.
Bradley, both of them, and this is what we expected of them when they got traded. It's like
when they
Beal
got
and Westbrook.
Yeah.
I mean, say what you want, that's still good.
Right.
And they start off trash, and now they're picking it up, and that could be a hot team to see.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I think they scored like 90, almost 100 points between them both. Like, God dang, like, how many points were scored in the goddamn game? Like,
exactly. So,
so all right, guys. So we're just gonna go ahead and just finish it off right there. Start wrapping it up for today. I know we had a lot of stuff going on, and that was a lot of little technical difficulties. That's on my bad. We have been having crazy storms here in San Antonio. You guys, San Antonio may know, but other than that, just wanted to thank you guys for being patient with us, with our broadcast, with everything going on. So let's go ahead and start wrapping it up, Mr. Correct AV. All right, guys. So that's gonna go ahead and be it for this week's episode. Hope you guys chill with us next time. Go ahead and follow and subscribe to us on Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube. Go ahead and want to go ahead and thank you to our sponsors, music provided by Studio 13th Day, also our graphics. Go ahead and check us out on again all of our sites, and including our Instagram. We're going to go ahead and start doing some raffle by next week. We'll talk about that next time. This is Danny BMD signing off to the latest to bringing home Arturo. Go for it.
Thank you, Dan. The lesson of the day is racing horse Medina Spirit is lucky to still be racing in the Preakness, and the Oakland A's will be lucky not to race out of Oakland. Remember, sports are great, but nothing without y'all, the fans. This is episode number 28. Until next time, folks, be cool, stay safe, and keep on listening to Mezzo Forte Sportz.
I love that Tosco pose. Oh yeah.